Hello, Crystal Palace. Welcome to the Upper Norwood Library Hub Library Live Lunch. This is intended as something positive, a bit of entertainment, a way of keeping the community connected and spreading some positive stories and some useful information. So today's guest is Paul Mitchell, who founded and runs the South Norwood Community Kitchen with Laura Whittle. Paul, it's great to have you.
Hello,
Thank you for
Crystal
joining
Palace.
us. Tell us about the South Norwood Community Kitchen. What is it? This is intended as
so it's a community kitchen. I suppose it's a place where we serve meals to anybody who wants to come. I mean, by definition, it is for the whole community. Our ethos is that there is no requirement, be that what you have, what you don't have. That if you want to come and join us, then you're free to do so. Currently, we are. One day, well, not currently, but business as usual. We are one day a week, a free 3-course lunch every Saturday.
Wow.
Obviously, things have changed a bit recently, but yeah, it's a place for everybody to come, hang out, get to know people.
That's quite a mission. 3-course meal.
Yes.
Comes.
Yes, it can be, and we started it that way, and so now we have to stick to it.
Yeah.
But it's a challenge. It's a challenge, and it's a challenge we embrace. I mean, frankly, we wouldn't have been doing it as long as we had if we didn't enjoy it.
How long have you been doing it?
We were 3 last week.
Awesome!
So,
happy birthday!
Yeah, so we didn't do much celebrating, obviously, but yeah. So it feels like we've been doing it a lifetime, but also for 5 minutes. So
yeah,
it's yeah. I mean, it's amazing that it's been running so long, really.
I guess it's a constant learning curve as well, isn't it?
100%, yeah. I mean, we've had to change various ways we do things. Feedback from our guests. Obviously, food trends change, and we never know what food we're going to get on a week-to-week basis. So there's all kinds of things that you have to learn. And when we first started, we simply thought, all we'll do is multiply the recipes that we cook at home, times it by 10, and it will be all right. It doesn't work like that. And, we learned very quickly. I mean, we didn't do rice for about 6 months because we couldn't do it without burning it.
Wow.
So anyway, we now know how to cook rice on mats. Well, in fact, someone bought us a rice cooker. That's how we do it on mats. But yeah, it's always learning.
And what sort of numbers do you get? I mean, talking about kind of pre-virus business as usual, what kind of numbers are we getting?
So one of the fun things, and also not fun things, is we never know who's going to come on any given day. On average, I would say we are 35 to 45 every Saturday. The highest we've done is 72. That presented somewhat of a fire risk, to be fair. And then, some days there are quiet days. I mean, bizarrely, Christmas is very quiet for us.
Really?
We would do Christmas Day if it fell on a weekend, but it hasn't since we've started. So we haven't done Christmas Day. Actually, because we borrow a church, they're sort of busy on Christmas Day. So we'd have to find some other way of doing it. But, the people, I suppose, have families and whatever else to go to. We still have 15, 20, and it's a properly Christmas vibe at that point, because it's what Christmas is actually all about. But yeah, so 35 to 40 in the main, but we have to cater mentally for about 60 on the basis that if somebody turns up, we hate not having any food. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And tell us where it's based then. You said it's based in the church.
Yep. So we've been at South Norwood Baptist Church on Oliver Grove since we started. We had another venue lined up in the beginning, but they had to back out at the last minute, and the Baptist Church stepped in because actually the project was in danger of not happening because we didn't have a venue. The church has a semi-professional kitchen, which, why I don't know, but it does. So I mean, we couldn't be luckier really with the facilities that we have, and they've been so accommodating to us. We were supposed to leave to our own venue about 12 months ago. That's been hugely delayed, and they've put on hold everything else they planned to do just to ensure that we were kept there. So we couldn't thank them enough, really.
What amazing venue to have. That's really brilliant.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I'm just going to pause for a moment and say welcome to Sarah, Hester, Debbie, Shane, and Tanya, who've all joined us to watch. So it's great to have you guys watching. If you have any questions for Paul, please do send them across on the Facebook page or whatever, and we will try and answer them as we go. Paul, tell us about where this came from. You've been going 3 years. Where was the inspiration?
So Laura and I were overseas and worked for a loosely similar project. Prior to that, Laura volunteered for Food Cycle, who also have a South Norwood project. And when we came home, we wanted to start a community project. And it's very difficult to start a community project with no qualifications in anything like that. So what we came across is that as the easiest, least barriers to entry, what was this? We both love to cook. People need to eat, and there was an obvious need in and around Croydon, South Norwood for it, and so we just gave it a go. I mean, the setup costs were minimal. We funded it ourselves to begin with, but I mean, it wasn't thousands of pounds, hundreds of pounds probably, and it's really just grown from there. What was her and I and a couple of people has now. I have a volunteer rota full to the rest of the year with people
Wow.
that just want to help us out, and it's amazing really how it started to where it is now.
It is amazing. It's an amazing project. I love that there's not the criteria. So many projects, I guess, out of necessity have to
Mm-hmm.
have a limit on who comes, or they have very definite criteria, and it's
Mm-hmm.
people who maybe aren't able to provide food themselves or something. But I love that yours is open to who needs it and down to people to decide for themselves if they need it.
And it's a question of what that need is,
Yeah.
because it's not just for people. So we often get referred to as a soup kitchen, and we aren't. What separates us, and that's not to be derogatory to soup kitchens, they serve their own purpose, but we aren't that, and we purposely didn't want to be that because there are many people who fall through the cracks in terms of need, and I'm talking loneliness, isolation,
Yeah.
for any of those reasons. But they wouldn't go to a soup kitchen because they're not hungry. They're in need of other things. They're in need of stimulation, friendship, conversation, whatever. But actually, it's not even about that. It's just about buying into your community. I mean, we're very lucky that we know most of our punters almost on a first name basis now. You see them in the street and you say hello, and it's the kind of community that I've never had in London before. And so that's really what the ethos of a community kitchen is. That you don't have to be poor to come. I mean, at times it makes it unpredictable, and so it's very difficult to manage, and at times that can be therefore stressful, but once you overcome that stress, you feel very happy that you've done it. So it will always be that way. We won't change.
That leads me quite nicely on to actually how do you organise and fund it? You said you funded it yourselves originally, but
Yep.
you're not still doing that.
No, we're not. No. So the first year or two, actually in the main, we're very low cost really. So the church don't charge us anything for being there, which is nice. So actually our overheads are reasonably small, or have been reasonably small until now. So we've had councillor grant funding, do a little fundraising. We do supper clubs, a couple of supper clubs that have been quite successful.
Nice.
And now obviously we have to spend, since the virus, we've had to grow and upscale in a way that we couldn't imagine doing so in such a quick succession. So we've borderline spent all of our money, but similarly, people have been exceptionally generous to us also. The amount of donations we've had in the last 3 weeks has been mind-blowing, frankly. For a little organisation like ours, when there are so many bigger, sort of more sparkly organizations, the fact that so many people have found out about us and helped us is tremendous. So we're still self-sustaining at the moment, which is good. So yeah.
And how has lockdown actually changed stuff for you then? Quite a lot from what you just said.
Yeah, we were a little bit late to the party. We had our last in-house lunch probably a week after we should have done, because for lack of guidance, really. I mean, we made the decision that if we stopped, there are going to be many people that miss out. So we didn't want to stop. And then when it became apparent that we had to stop, we made a decision that we'll start delivering to those guests that come to us, because that wouldn't be too difficult. 35 or 40 people is no problem. So the problem is we have no way of communicating with most of our guests. We don't have their phone numbers, we don't have email addresses. Many are not on social media. So the very next week they all came and we had to say, look, I'm really sorry, we can't do this now, but here's your meal in a takeaway container, and take it away. Let us know your address and we'll deliver to you. So the following week, sure enough, we delivered 35 or 40 meals. Well, on Tuesday just gone, we delivered 173. I mean, how we do it, I'm not actually sure. I don't believe we actually have the capacity to do it, but somehow we manage. And the church have kindly allowed us, because the church isn't meeting, we've turned the church into our headquarters. They've let us use the church for another day a week, at zero cost. Again, they're obviously bearing utilities and all that sort of stuff for us. So again, thanks to them.
And you're actually doing more days a week now. You're doing 2 instead of 1.
Yeah, Tuesdays and Saturdays. Yeah. I mean, again, in many ways, it served lots of purposes, because I mentioned earlier our volunteer rota is full. Lots of people with lots of time on their hands has meant that we've been able to upscale in the way that we want to. Again, took a bit of working out, because cooking in a busy kitchen and being safe, keeping apart from each other, is difficult / nigh on impossible. Fortunately, we've a lot of the volunteers we know quite well, and in the end you get through the sort of slightly tense relationships a lot quicker. And we've got delivery drivers, we've got scores of people that have volunteered to deliver for us. So it's quite a slick operation. In many ways, I'll miss it when it goes back to business as usual, because we feel like we're running a bit of a sort of food empire at the moment, albeit not a very successful one, because it's not making any money. It's
it depends on how you define success, surely.
That's very true. I don't think the bank would like my business plan very well.
That's definitely only one form of success. I mean, the fact that you had to scale up so immediately to 2 days a week, and that the number of meals you're serving has kind of quadrupled, is just incredible.
Yeah, we're proud of ourselves, it's fair to say, but proud also of all of our volunteers. We couldn't do it without them. Laura and I are just 2 cogs in a multitude of people, and actually without their influences and their steadying input, Laura and I at times can be a little bit carefree and erratic about things and just do stuff. So sometimes it's helpful to have people that are a bit more organized or have a better idea of doing this, and that's the beauty of it. We try and run it sort of democratically, and listen to our volunteers. We're all in it together, to be a bit of a cliche, and so that really helped.
I'm just going to pause for a moment and say welcome to Jazzy, who's joined us as well. If you or anybody else has got any questions, please send them across and we will try and answer them right now. Paul, also the Upper Norwood Library Hub says that they'd take you up for Christmas Day. So there you go. If we're able to all actually be in the same space again by Christmas Day, then the Upper Norwood Library Hub will, in its entirety, be with you for Christmas Day.
Tremendous.
So where does the food actually come from?
We have 2 main suppliers. Fair Share are our biggest supplier. We pay them a nominal membership fee, but it equates to not a huge amount of money on a weekly basis. We get 90 kilos plus of food from them every Saturday morning. I'm going to talk about business as usual, because that's like
sure.
But we never know what we're going to get until we get it. So it's like a fun game of Ready Steady Cook every Saturday. I was going to say if everyone remembers Ready Steady Cook, but I think it's come back now. But yeah, so it really is like that. I mean, and that's part of the fun. We rarely have a bad week. I mean, Fair Share too are at the mercy of their donators. They get food wholesale from supermarket warehouses where they've overproduced, etc. But we rarely have a bad week, and we're nearly always able to put something decent together. City Harvest are another supplier of ours more recently. And then, members of the public also will contribute here and there, if there's things they can't use or whatever, and we'll always put things to good use.
Brilliant. And you mentioned about your own venue as a sort of possibility. So tell us about that.
So we tendered a bid for a building on Portland Road called Sokochita I think it was in August 2018. It feels like a very long time ago. I might be exaggerating. No, I think it was 2018. Anyway, it's been lined with lots of problems, legal stuff, and this, that, and the other. Anyway, we exchanged contracts on it about 3 months ago, finally, which is tremendous. And we were just about to go out for tender for the major works. We've been supported with a considerable amount of money by the GLA in partnership with the council as part of the Good Growth Fund. Unfortunately, things are sort of carrying on in the background, but it's quite hard to tender for building works when you can't meet. So it's on hold again now. We were hoping we would open in the summer. Realistically, it might be Christmas. But yeah, that's really exciting. And the project will move then. We're just 1/5 of a consortium that have taken on this lease. The Domino's Club, Screen 25, Association Jamaicans, and ourselves, that's it, are all partners. And the idea is to bring the building back to life and to a bit like your space, really, a multi-use community space that's a hub and a centre that we really need it down here in South Norwood, and so that's the plan. And then the kitchen will move there. We will run a pay-as-you-feel cafe Monday to Friday, and keep maintaining the lunch on a Saturday.
So it's basically turning into a full-time job for both of you, isn't it?
Hopefully, as long as it can pay for itself. Yes, it is. It is a full-time job, but it's a job that we would do gladly. I mean, we're so passionate about it that at times it feels like we never sit down. But I wouldn't have it any other way, because it's really our baby, and we like to nurture it.
That's absolutely amazing. I'm definitely coming to your cafe when you open it. Absolutely.
Good.
I've got a couple of questions from people here. So Tanya asks, what is your definition of success?
I suppose this comes back to the point you said earlier. I mean, my flippant comment about success was a bit throwaway, but it's hard to say, really, because in many ways it feels like a success if we have more people coming for a lunch. So let's say we have 50 people turn up on a Saturday and we feed them. That feels like a success. If you flip that on its head, in some ways, it's sort of sad that many people have to come because they're not getting what they need in the walk of their normal life. So it's very hard to gauge, and it's something that we have discussed amongst ourselves. Actually, in some ways, it would be great if there wasn't a need for us at all. But actually, and also, charities like Fair Share exist because of the sheer levels of food waste that there are. But actually, we need there to continue to be food waste because we wouldn't be able to get the produce from them. So it's we're in a really weird position like that. But I don't know how to answer the question, to be honest. I'm torn. But as long as we see people leaving with smiles on their faces, I suppose that's the best success that we can ask for.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, I'd agree. There's another question. So I think this is a question from Mike asking if you have a franchise shape model that I could run feasibility to have a go. Does that make sense?
We don't. If I run a franchise, does that mean I can charge fees? No, I'm joking. We on our website, we've written an open source document on how to start a community kitchen. So and anybody that wants to have a go, read that. We think it's quite concise and easy to follow. But if you really feel like having a go, just ring me. I'll tell you all of the lessons that I've learned, and we'll help you as best we can to get there.
That's an amazing offer. Thank you. And the website and social media handles and everything are in the description to the side of this video. So anybody who is interested, do have a look at the document, and then there's ways to get in touch with Paul through social media as well there. So I suppose kind of the most important question, Paul, in a way, is how can we help? How can we as the local community help support you in this, especially right now?
Well, we've, as I mentioned, touched on briefly, and we've been inundated with offers of help of various ways. I mean, I wish we had volunteer opportunities for the amount of people that have asked to come and help us, but we just don't have enough work for people to do. So without being too crass about it, money really is the best way people can help. I hate asking for money, I really do, but we can overcome most of our problems financially. And really, if you're feeling generous and you want to help, that would be the best way you can help, because it means we can bulk buy any gaps in our supply chain. We can, get what we need through our suppliers, rather than trying to piece together bits and pieces from here, there, and everywhere. So I'm sorry to ask for it, but that would be the best way to help.
To be fair, you're not asking for it. I asked you how we could help, and you're replying.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
And one thing I found very, very interesting when we spoke about this the other day, was you were talking about, initially you'd had donations of kind of containers and things to
Yep.
deliver meals in, but actually that came with its own challenges, didn't it? Which is partly why having the money to just bulk buy stuff would be useful.
Yes. So we on the first day, I guess, that, or the first couple of days that we had, when the numbers just rocketed up to over 100, loads of people were buying us containers, or donating ones they had left over, which is what we asked for. The problem is, when you're trying to serve the same meal in 100 plus different shaped boxes, different shaped lids, and also they're fiendishly similar. So you think that you've got it, and then you're like, oh damn, this one doesn't fit, and this one doesn't fit. I mean, it's hard also to then manage portion control and things like that. So yeah, it's one of those lessons that we learned, that actually, if we can go and buy 1,000 of the same ones, we can cut our operation time down by half an hour, realistically, or an hour. And even then, moving on to the delivery drivers, they can stack things easier if they're all the same shape and things like that.
Yeah, amazing, brilliant. So if people do want to donate, want to help with this at this point, especially as you've expanded so much, and clearly just yeah, the bit of extra money is really going to help at this point. Presumably there's links to that through your website, through social media.
Yes, absolutely. There's a donate page on our website, where we take all major credit cards, as they say, and yeah. But if anyone's struggling to find it, just get in touch. We'll send you what you need.
Brilliant. Thank you, Paul. It's such an amazing project. Thank you very much indeed for coming to talk to us about
Thank
it.
you for having me.
It's a pleasure. I'm going to sideline very quickly into the Upper Norwood Library Hub live streaming program. As many of you know, I'm sure we have a very big and ever-changing live streaming program. Please do check it out. We have everything from sort of mindfulness and yoga to live music, children's stories. We have Talkioki, which is a live chat show. Anybody can come along and just join in the chat. Though the next couple are happening on the 6th and the 20th of May, so watch out for those. Please come and get involved. On Sunday, we have Izzy Sutty reading from her book Under My Skin. So come and hear her. That'll be very exciting. And basically, there's a huge lot of live streaming that is there for your entertainment. Please do check it out. And I think the one other thing I was going to say, which is that the Upper Norwood Library Hub is obviously shut at the moment, and so the live streaming program is basically, as much as possible, replacing the things that we would normally have on in the Upper Norwood Library Hub. That also means we're not getting the revenue from renting out spaces and stuff. So if you are enjoying the live streaming program and you would like to help support us through this as well, there is a link at the bottom of the description by the video of how you can become a supporter of the Library Hub, and we would be very appreciative of that as well. So that's all from us today. We have Mark Wilson from the Wanderers Football Club, which is a local football club, coming to talk to us tomorrow. If you're interested in football, getting involved in that in some way, then do come and join us for that at midday. And that's it from me today. Paul, thank you so much for coming and talking to us. It's been great to have a chat.
Thank you very much.
And we'll hopefully see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.